Hey guys, this is Mark from Mark Melbourne TV. I will be covering something a bit different. So how do you find your passion? So I guess often throughout different stages of your life, the question will come up, what am I passionate about? And often the theme around it is around growth, and it's around your interests, your hobbies, your goals, your milestones, where you'd like to be at in the next couple of years, or what you would have liked to have experienced by the time you turn 30, 40, 50. It may be financial goals, it may be career goals, it may be physical milestones, things like this. But often the question comes from a place when you're usually feeling stuck. So when people ask, what is my passion? It often is them basically saying, I want to do something fulfilling with my life, right? So what you need to ask is, first off, am I asking this question because I feel like I need a change in my life? Is it because I feel like I'm in a career I don't enjoy? What's causing that rut? Okay, so for me, the way I sort of went about this, and this is always going to change. So it often happens when you come straight out of university. So I'm speaking to, you guys that are in your early 20s or even just finished high school. You go through this phase, and often you'll find that your hobbies won't pay for what you're passionate about. So the things you're passionate about isn't always a great career choice because it doesn't pay well, often because you're interested in it, but the people willing to pay for your interest or your hobby is just not there because you haven't developed those skills yet, and sometimes it's just not practical. So what I'm basically getting at is, at different stages in your life, you will experience different feelings of or the need to pursue your interests and your hobbies and to find your passion. So what I did in my early 20s was I would try as much things as I could. So here's an exercise for you guys. If you just sit down there for 20 minutes in a quiet place, grab a pen and a pad, write down a bucket list of things you want to do. So these can be things around traveling. So you may want to travel to China, Asia, Europe, America. Try to be as specific as you can, but any ideas that comes to your mind, just write them down. So it may be around your career. You might want to try certain industries. You might want to try certain roles. You might want to end up in a certain position within your company. You might have physical goals, so you might want to reach a certain weight or look a certain way. You might want to be able to lift a certain weight. You might just want to be healthy. You might want to be good at a certain sport or activity. You might want to develop certain skills. Like for me, it was finding my voice and being able to communicate a little bit better, being more comfortable and sharing my ideas, and also just being influential. So being able to teach, but also encourage and inspire a bit of hope and these, and also discuss the things that I'm passionate about. So do those things, do that, spend 20 minutes, write down your goals, milestones. It might be just personal development. So maybe you want to change your attitude, you want to be a bit more positive, you want to be more confident in yourself. Maybe you just want to work on your anxiety issues, something that I dealt with for a long time and I'm still dealing with. You might just want to find ways that are nagging at you, and you just want to be more confident in your own skin. So do that for 20 minutes, write down as much as you can, and then from that list, choose the ones that you really want to achieve in the next 3 to 12 months and start focusing on those things every day. So for me, I came up with a game plan of basically releasing a video every single week and not deterring from that. I've always been pretty good at, I suppose, being pretty disciplined and sticking to a routine. And a lot of this developed from my early days where I took an interest in fitness and I started going to the gym on a regular basis. Having that more mental fortitude and just being able to be disciplined and work on the hard days even when you're not feeling great. This is when you grow, and this is when you start seeing results, because it's all compounding. A lot of the results, or the skills you develop, you don't recognize along the way until suddenly it starts making sense, and you realize, like for me, being able to speak for 5 minutes straight and not saying and ahs as often, I thought this would never change, and I just thought that I'm just naturally not a good speaker and this is not something I can work on. But if I go back and look at my videos, I can see that when I speak now, I definitely pause less. I definitely feel more comfortable speaking to the camera, and there's less ums and ahs, which is always distracting, as I did it then. But it's distracting for people watching, and it makes the way you speak seem less confident, and it takes away from your message. So if you're in your early 20s, you got heaps of time. If there's one thing on your side, you have time, okay? So just relax, but also work your ass off, okay? So figure out the things you want to try, whether it's, fitness wise, whether it's personal goals, whether it's relationships. One thing I would say though is so a lot of people think that the way to find your passion is to find that thing that really drives you. But how do you know what drives you if you haven't tried anything outside of your regular routine that you just, if your routine is day in and day out, the same things, same activities, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to the gym, you go to work, you watch a bit of Netflix, and that's your life. Well, how can you expect to find your passion? So you got to try new activities, have an open mind, have an open perspective, try things, and try to be curious. That's your biggest thing to find passion. So be curious and find out why. If your friend is so into cooking or baking and it's not interesting for you, just take a curiosity in that and just try to figure out, why is your friend so interested in baking? What is it that inspires them? Or whether it's photography, it might not be your interest, but take a curiosity in it and just try new things. Especially if you get the opportunity to do things that you normally wouldn't do, I'd say at least try it once, keep an open mind, and you'll be surprised at the things you're interested in. So for example, I never took an interest in motorcycles. It was something didn't even really think twice about. I decided to hop on the back of my mate's motorcycle because he offered, and then another opportunity came up. I did the same thing, decided to get my license, and next thing you know, I've started riding quite frequently, and I love it. It's a new hobby that I didn't think I would actually end up doing. So I ended up going to do track days at Phillip Island. I've ridden for about 3 years now. I do the twisties, and I ride through the mountains, beautiful roads in Victoria, in Australia, and I'd love to do roads in Tasmania and other roads as well. And yeah, it's always been something that just compounded and became something that I've become more interested in, rather than something that I knew from the get-go that I was definitely passionate about. So keep an open mind, try new things. That's my advice for you if you're finding you're stuck in your ways. And also, the biggest thing for me was trying to have a network or group of people. I'm pretty introverted, so when I tried new activities, I was always trying to get my closest friends to try these activities with me. But what I didn't realize was I can't impose my own interests and hobbies to other people who don't necessarily enjoy it, and I wouldn't like it if somebody did the same to me. So there's a bit of give and take, and sometimes if your hobby is something that no one in your immediate circle is doing, I encourage you to go out there. So what I did was I joined Meetup, and I started attending things and putting myself outside of my comfort zone. So socializing and social anxiety was a big thing for me, but I put myself out there, started talking to people. I went to some photography meetups. There was an activity where it was free. You turn up, take photos of a Lamborghini, you talk to some other photographers, and you're in a place where people have similar hobbies and interests to you, and it's a lot easier speaking to someone who's already interested in the things you're interested, rather than trying to impose it and try to get your friends to try to become interested in the things you're interested in. So if there's one takeaway, if you're feeling uninspired, write down some things that you can try. Spend 20 minutes, make a list of those things, and then from that list, start trying and working on those things. You'd be surprised how powerful it is to write down things. There's a lot of things that I wrote down early in the year, and my goals and some of the milestones and things I like to try. And I've actually crossed off a lot of those things that I didn't expect to do earlier. So anyway, hopefully I can make more of these series. I thought this is something I'm sort of interested in talking about other than crypto and my business. So this is something a bit different. Hope you guys enjoy it. You guys know what to do. I'll catch you later.